Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today it's really nothing but as the title of the video, I quit YouTubing and I quit doing TikToks. It's just stuff going on in my family. A lot of stuff been going on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I won't be posting no more YouTube stuff anymore, and I officially quit Roblox. I don't really play that now because I'm getting a little bit older and stuff. And Roblox is kind of getting a little boring. I still play Yandere, but I won't be uploading because I'm gonna really delete this YouTube channel because I quit. So hopefully y'all have a nice time. See you later. Bye. Yeah, I was just playing with y'all. I'm not deleting. Not. But actually, today we're gonna be watching, scary animations. And I think it just stopped storming, but it's probably soon it's gonna be storming again. But yeah, let's go ahead, watch these scary animations. Okay, so first video of the scary animations is called The 9 Deaths by Snarled. I love Snarled. By Sapphire. I love Sapphire. Anyways, let's get to it.
It's your Ate Sapphire. Before we get into
Sapphire.
today's episode, I wanted to tell you about
I think I need to turn it up.
Without them, the show would not be possible. Did you know that fashion is the second most polluting industry in the world? That's pretty scary, right? That's actually one of the many reasons I love to shop secondhand, and my favorite place to do so is on ThredUp. ThredUp is the largest online consignment and thrift store. The website is super easy to navigate. You can filter the items by size, style, silhouette. I have a lot of weddings to attend this year, and it was so easy to find amazing dresses at such great prices. I got this Aiden Maddox dress that was originally $395 for only $50.
$50.
And I can't even tell that these dresses are used, and that's because everything on ThredUp is hand inspected and triple checked for quality. They add over 50,000 new items every single day, so you are guaranteed to find something you'll love. Get an extra 30% off your first order when you go to thredup.com/ss or click the link in the description below. And now, back to the show.
Hey,
I'm Sapphire. Want to hear something scary? The 9 Deaths. The following story was submitted by Jean. This is a true story their best friend Lawrence told them. My name is Lawrence. I was 13 years old at the time. My mom and I were on a trip to my hometown in India, visiting some family. When we arrived, I went to take a shower and freshen up. I'm still not entirely sure how it happened, but I slipped and hit my rear end pretty hard on the floor. I remember my mom pounding on the locked door to let her in, while I lay there crying nonstop. After I calmed down a bit and let her in, I remember her examining the floor and being really confused. Because the floor was bone dry, I had slipped before I even stepped into the shower. That was just the beginning. Later that evening, my mom needed to run some errands and she left me alone in the house. I began to write in my diary about the trip so far. That's when I heard something grumble. It was my stomach, so I hopped out of bed to grab some snacks from the kitchen. I opened the door, and as I took a step forward, the door slammed back shut, hitting my head hard. I fell backward and onto the carpet. I screamed as I saw and felt blood dripping near my eyes. It hurt so bad. My vision was blurring, and I passed out. But before I did, I remember hearing a laugh that sounded like a woman's.
Ew.
I woke up. I felt terrible pain on my forehead, and I touched the area. It wasn't wet. There was no blood, no swelling, only pain. I was still on the ground. I looked around me. No blood. On the door, no blood there either. The door was still cracked halfway open, and I was still home alone. This type of thing kept happening to me. I would get inexplicably hurt, but ultimately end up fine. Like the next day, I was hit by a bus. Another day, a knife flew at me while I was alone in the kitchen.
Sorry, I got
One time, I began choking out of nowhere. Every time something like this happened, I heard that same eerie laugh. The day before my 14th birthday, I decided to tell my mom. I had counted 8 times that I had nearly died, and I didn't want it to happen anymore. While I was explaining every incident to her, I could see the blood drain from her face. She grabbed my hand and pulled me outside, her other hand making calls on her cell phone. I remember feeling really scared. Did I do something wrong? A short ride later, we arrived at a church.
So bright.
The rest of my family was already waiting there. They ushered me inside, and my grandma proceeded to tell me what was going on. So the story went that my Aunt Natasha became a teenage mother around the time my parents got married. She lived alone at the time, so no one knew about the baby. Unfortunately, she hated her baby girl, Lawrence. She hated her so much that she tried to kill her multiple times, slipping in the bathroom, slamming her head by the door, pushing her at a bus stop, throwing a knife at her, cutting her fingers, strangling her, poisoning her, throwing her out the balcony of the 5th floor, drilling her skull. Lawrence died on the 9th try. She died around the same time that I was born. The only reason my family knows about any of this is because when Aunt Natasha visited me for the first time and heard my name, Lawrence, she confessed everything. I was just 3 years old at the time. My family had her committed to an institution after that. So the priest at the church blessed me in hopes of removing the curse that Aunt Natasha had put on me. And it seems to have worked so far. It's been a year and I haven't had any more near-death experiences. I'm just glad that I told my parents about what was going on when I did. If I had waited any longer, things might have ended a lot differently.
Oh, now we gotta go? Broke people should never laugh. Now hold on.
That laugh was the I don't like the laugh. Kiss me. Okay. Next animation. So the next animation is Indian Horror Story by Snarled. And I think they're gonna put it with Sapphire, of course. So let's go ahead, get on to it.
Sapphire. If you want to listen to the extended version of this episode, the link is in the description below.
So bright.
Hey, I'm Sapphire. Want to hear something scary? The Shalva. Our first chapter is inspired by true events that happened to Gaurav from India. This happened when I was about 11 years old and lived with my 17-year-old sister Manika and my grandmother. I was sitting at the table eating dinner with my grandma when Manika quickly rushed inside. "You're home late," Grandma commented, but Manika didn't respond. Grandma called over to her to join us for dinner, but she just walked right past us and straight to her room. "Teenagers, so moody," Grandma said. I was pretty close to my sister. We weren't that far apart in age, and we could usually talk about anything. She did have a tendency to be moody, but I could feel that something was different about tonight. So after dinner, I gently knocked on her door and asked if everything was okay. "I just need to be alone right now." I shrugged and headed to my own room, followed by our family dog, Snoopy. I laid in bed, but was having a hard time falling asleep. I felt really anxious and restless for some reason. I didn't understand why. Hours went by and I had given up on trying to fall asleep. I decided to take Snoopy out for a 3 a.m. walk. The neighborhood was quiet and calm. Snoopy was happily sniffing around. Then I heard a rustling from a bush a couple meters in front of us. From the bushes emerged what looked like a mangy black dog. There were a lot of strays in this part of town, so I wasn't too surprised and continued forward. But Snoopy wasn't moving. I looked down and was shocked to see him low on the ground, sneering. "It's just a dog, Snoop," I said as I yanked on his leash. But Snoopy was not budging. His sneering turned into growling. I looked back towards the stray dog and watched as the dark figure stood up, reaching its full height.
Ooh.
That was no dog. At this point, Snoopy was barking wildly at the creature. I pulled his leash and ran in the opposite direction. I could hear the booming footsteps of that thing chasing after us. I asked tauntingly. I refused to turn around or speak to it. My grandmother was a very spiritual person, and she had always told me to never engage with a spirit that's trying to get your attention. That's how you invite them into your life. So I just kept running, Snoopy following closely by my side. Luckily, my neighborhood had a lot of temples, almost one every 200 meters. I ran towards one of them and slammed the door shut behind me. I waited.
Did you never leave the door unlocked?
And listened. The footsteps outside slowed down and came to a halt. "I'll come back for you." I fell to the ground and caught my breath. Snoopy and I stayed there until the sun rose. When we got back to our house, my grandmother and sister were already at the dining room table eating breakfast. "I saw something last night. It was this thing. It was chasing us." I was struggling to find the words to describe what I saw, but even then, my grandmother knew what it was. "You didn't talk to it, did you?" "No, of course not. But Grandma, what was that?" "It was most likely a chalava. It means illusionist or a shapeshifter. They're created when an unborn child dies and the respected ceremonies aren't performed. And since the child's spirit couldn't take a good earthly form, they inhabit whatever form they can.
My bad, y'all.
Usually a malicious one." Manica covered her mouth. This seemed to really be upsetting her. "Where did you see the chalava?" Grandma asked. "Out by that field where the stray dogs usually are." "Ah, that makes sense. There used to be a hospital over there. It was shut down when they discovered that a doctor was performing unauthorized abortions." Manica burst into tears. "What's wrong, Manica? You've been acting so strangely lately." "That chalava? It's my fault. I'm so sorry, Gorov." Manica ran back to her room.
What are you sorry for?
My grandma told me that she was just being moody, but it wasn't until a few years later that I fully understood what had happened that night. Want more something scary? You can listen to the extended version of this episode on
Well, that was super interesting to know. But let me just go ahead and do something real quick. Just click the subscribe button. Turn on the bell. Yes. Turn on the bell and just like yes. Okay, moving on. So our last scary video of the day is called "A Creepy Guy Broke Into My House," horror animated by Wanzi Entertainment. I love Wanzi Entertainment. Ow. Yeah, let's get started.
I am a 19-year-old male. And this happened many years ago when I was very young.
Okay.
To give you an idea of the layout of our house back then, the living room has multiple windows that directly look out onto the back garden. There's a big gate in our driveway to stop anyone from getting in.
Your voice is creepy.
Next to the living room is the kitchen, which also has more windows, but also the back door. This will be relevant to this story. So my mother was completing the household chores as she does one day. I was sitting in the living room watching television on the sofa with my back to the living room windows. All of a sudden, I saw a figure reflecting off of the picture frame hanging on the wall opposite the window. I asked my mom if my dad was back from work, to which she said no. I'll never ever forget the look of horror on her face when I told her that yes, he was. He's in the garden. She looked outside the window and almost had a heart attack when she saw a scruffy looking but fairly built man out outside the living room
I don't look
window.
like a man. I look like a woman.
This didn't seem to faze him at all, though. He psychotically smiled at my mother through the glass, and my mom asked him what he was doing on our property. He said nothing,
You should
with the
like
same
he does look
sadistic
like he's a
smirk on his
she.
face. She said that she was going to call the
Sorry to
police,
disrespect,
and what he
but
said is one of the scariest
I'm
things
sorry.
I've ever heard. He screamed at my mother through the glass that if she even got her phone out, that he would break the glass. She did not know what to do. She paused and tried to rapidly think of what to do next, how to keep us both safe. She wanted to protect me by calling the police, but she also didn't want him to hurt me if she did try to call them. As soon as he saw that she was terrified, he ran for the back door.
No.
Luckily, it was locked because my mom has always been a paranoid person, so she always locks the doors. He screamed at her to let him in, or if she didn't, he'd
I'll
find
let
a
you
way
in.
and kill us both. My mother told him to fuck off, which enraged him,
Oop.
and he pulled out a pocket knife and began bashing hard against the windows.
Wait,
I
you
was
wanna
still
do that?
oblivious
I
to
got
what
a
was
bottle.
happening, as I just thought I was my dad. I was very young. My mom frantically grabbed me, and I don't mean picked me up. She literally grabbed me off the sofa and booked it up the stairs. We were backing up in the upstairs hallway, looking for anywhere to hide, when my mom's younger brother popped out of his room with his headphones on. My mom didn't even realize he was home, and he clearly didn't hear the commotion downstairs because of his headphones. My uncle was 25 at the time and was really well built. He's intimidated a lot of people. My mom cried and told him that there's a guy who's
Bodybuilder, I
trying to
think.
break in. While she's telling him this, that creepy lunatic screamed from downstairs that he was
Well,
in
shut
the
up. What you
house.
talking about?
He said cynically, "Boogeyman is coming out to get you," which really freaked me out. It freaked me out so much that I actually remember that to this day. Anyway, since the guy didn't know my uncle was home, he kept yelling and telling us to come out and that it wouldn't be painful. My uncle told us to lock ourselves in the bathroom and call the police. We did, and after 5 minutes of groaning and blatant violence downstairs, the police stormed in and found the guy bloodied and my uncle on top of him, beating him mercilessly. My uncle really didn't hold back. Turns out that he was a known pedophile, which is why he was watching me for so long while I was watching TV. After that day, my mom was terrified to be home alone at the house. I loved it as a child because I found the running and hiding fun, obviously because I was young. I can never thank my uncle enough for being there at the right time when my mother clearly forgot that he was still home. It honestly gives me chills, wondering what he would have done to my mother and myself if my uncle was not there.
Oh, you would have been
Great ideas
chopped.
come with
You would have been chopped, my boy. But sucker, if anybody tries to break in, you want to break in, right? Hold up. Okay. I don't have no gun like Corey's Kitchen. I'm trying not to be like him, but you wanna come in my house and disturb my mama, huh? Get the shoe, get a roach, slap it on the thing, slap it. Find a roach somewhere, slap it on him. And also, use this as pepper spray. Spray in your eyes. Yes, you can do that. I can do that. Get a box. Right there. Get my bag. Get a bag. Right here. Just whack him with it. Whack him. Send his butt straight to sleep. Also, get a bottle. Of course. Get this. Pick it up. Slash it on him. Smack. Oh, also you wanna kill? You wanna die? Get this. A social weapon. Weapons is everywhere. You got a shoe. You got your hand. You got your fist, sweetheart. You got weapons everywhere. You got a pillow. We got pictures. We got clocks. We got lamps, remotes, devices, Everywhere we got weapons. Yeah. Anyways, it's time for me to, go. So, I'll see you later. Thank you guys so much for probably it's 47 subscribers. Thank you so much. See you later. I'll probably do more of these. Yeah. I'll see you later. Bye.